How would you like to improve your health and keep your family safe? You're listening to the Healthy Home Hacks Podcast, where we firmly believe enjoying optimal health shouldn't be a luxury. Healthy Home Authorities and husband and wife team Ron and Lisa will help you create a home environment that will level up your health. It's time to hear from the experts. Listen in on honest conversations and gain the best tips and advice. If you're ready to dive in and improve your well-being and increase your energy, you're in the right place. All right, here are your hosts, bowel biologists, authors, media darlings, vicarious vegans, and avocado aficionados, Ron and Lisa Barris.
You can have 1,000 problems in your life until you have a health problem. Then you only have one problem.
Unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard about the dangers of nonstick cookware containing PFAS, poly and perfluoroalkyl substances, otherwise known as forever chemicals. They're called this because they take forever to break down in the environment and have been found in the body of virtually every person tested. PFAS is a group of chemicals that's used to make items stain, grease, and water resistant. They can be found in coatings on cookware, stain-resistant treatment on carpets, in microwave popcorn bags, on fast food wrappers, and waterproof and stain-repellent clothing. Heck, PFAS chemicals are even found in cosmetics, guys. You know, Environmental Working Group, we talk about them a lot. Their Skin Deep database identified 13 different PFAS chemicals in nearly 200 cosmetic products from 28 brands.
The number of U.S. communities contaminated with highly toxic fluorinated compounds known as PFAS continues to grow at an alarming rate. Almost 3,000 locations in 50 states are known to be contaminated. However, the Environmental Protection Agency only recently established legal limits on PFAS allowed in drinking water. Water systems have until 2029 to comply with the new stringent levels of PFAS allowed in drinking water. So that still leaves a lot of time for Americans to be exposed to these very toxic chemicals. Someone with us today to shed light on the dangers of PFAS and how you can cook safer and protect yourself and your loved ones is our special guest, Jeff Leitman. Yes.
Jeff is the president and CEO of Killer Concepts, a product development and brand management company behind the Hell's Kitchen product line. With experience in product development, supply chain creation, and consumer marketing, Jeff has a proven track record of bringing innovative concepts to life. In January 2024, Killer Concepts launched the Hell's Kitchen Hybrid Cookware Series, which has become a leader in the category. Renowned for its high quality, exceptional performance, and focus on healthier cooking, the Hybrid Series has redefined cookware standards.
This stainless steel cookware line features PFAS-free, non-stick surfaces, is metal utensil safe, works on all cooking surfaces, and is oven safe, making it a versatile and durable must-have for every kitchen. Without further ado, welcome to the show, Jeff.
Woo!
Thank you. Nice to be with you, Ron and Lisa.
We are so excited to have you. Synchronicities of how we met not very long ago. And it's just so lovely. You were at our retreat, listeners. If you know about our Elevate Your Life Wellness Retreat, Jeff was there showcasing this beautiful line that we're going to talk about today. And we decided we needed to bring him on the show. And because we've talked about PFAS before, episode 33 with the scientists from EWG, but we haven't talked about cookware. So I'm so excited about today's show. And thank you, Jeff, for being with us today. So I want to dive right in. What can you tell us about the health risks of PFAS?
Sure. PFAS has been in our cookware about since, I think, the 1940s. It started out with a company called Teflon, made a coating, and it was really innovative because people loved the ability to cook and have it be naturally slippery, right? Naturally nonstick. The challenges have been is that these PFAS kind of leach into our foods, either slowly as you heat it, or as it scrapes away, as you're busy moving. We've all seen those frying pans that kind of look a little bit beat and battered. And as you said, those PFAS chemicals end up in our systems, end up in our water, ends up in our bodies, and they just stay there. So the challenge has been is how do we maintain the benefits of a nonstick without the risks of nonstick? And this is really what we set ourselves to overcome, and why hybrid cookware is incredibly versatile and really powerful in allowing you to do that, and why moving to a ceramic-based nonstick and how do we integrate that into a stainless steel solution is really the magic of what Hell's Kitchen hybrid cookware achieves. So I can talk a little bit, if you like, about, I think I will, about how that really integrates and why that works well together.
Yeah. Well, before you get into that, can you tell us more about what are the risks of ingesting it through food? Say the cookware is breaking down and getting into your food, or you're getting it in your water or on the food wrappers, like we talked about. What are some of the health risks that you're familiar with?
Yeah, so exposure to PFASs have been linked to cancer, low birth rates, birth defects, damage to the liver, the immune system, and many other serious health concerns. So pretty much we're seeing now that PFAS chemicals are prevalent and found in the blood of over 97% of all Americans, and maybe even 100% now since the study has been done. So it's really a widespread concern. It's in our lives, it's in our systems, it's in our bodies. And it's just now that people are opening their eyes, and really the government is as well. We're seeing some legislation in many parts of the country that are starting to demand that these chemicals be phased out. And so we're really at the cutting edge of trying to help lead that direction. Eye-opening experience for us as well. When I started developing these products, I didn't know PFAS as well. I wasn't aware of it. And as I got to learn about all the manufacturing processes, all the different solutions, it really was like an onion peeling back and learning more and more and more. And early on, we made a decision that if we could develop a great product that didn't come with those trappings, we would. And so that became a mandate for us early on. And we really drove towards that direction, is how do we deliver the same performance that people are used to and what PFAS chemicals have delivered without using PFASs, which is a tremendous challenge, because as you know, we use PFASs because of the magical experience of nonstick. So without having PFAS is a challenge, and we achieved it. I'm super excited about it.
It's fantastic. The cookware, guys, is absolutely gorgeous too. And it's very priced reasonably. And I did want to do a shout out for listeners. If you've never watched the movies, The Devil We Know and Dark Waters with Mark Ruffalo, I suggest both of those movies. They dive really deep into this topic. This is a really huge topic, as Jeff said, the chemical contamination, whistleblowers coming out saying the company knew and hid documents about these harms that Jeff just talked about, these health harms that are major. We're not talking about just little. I mean, he mentioned cancer and reproductive harm and all of these things. And it's hard to trace these illnesses back to a chemical exposure, correct? I mean, when someone gets a cancer diagnosis, your doctor isn't like, are you using nonstick cookware? They don't even know to ask that. So you have to be your own, what do I want to say, like police watchwoman, and protect your family and do these things. And PFAS, it's really showing up in air fryers a lot right now too. And, you're heating these air fryers really high. And that's when these chemicals get released, is I think over 400 and something degrees. All these things that make our lives convenient. We have to ask ourselves, is it causing harm? And if it is, let's find a better solution like you guys have done. And I'm really impressed with the cookware. It's beautiful. It really is just stunning. And Ron and I know we can't stand like the elbow grease when you've got a really caked on pan. Right. You cook something and you're like, I need it clean. And,
Of course. That's my next question, really. So what makes Hell's Kitchen cookware better and safer, quite frankly, call it heavenly? What makes it heavenly?
I was thinking that too. That's funny you said that. I was like, we should call it Heaven's Cookware.
Right. Well, stainless steel cookware is probably the workhorse of the typical industrial kitchen. You go into a restaurant and they're all using stainless steel, and it's just a great surface because it's non-reactive, doesn't transfer flavor. But boy, if you don't set it up right, you don't have it at the right temperature, you don't use it just right, talk about that elbow grease, it's almost impossible to get the burns and the stains off of those things. And I learned that the hard way. Early on in product development, we were thinking, what are we going to build? And we bought some of the best stainless steel that we can buy from our competitors, right? Just to sort of see what's working. And in my kitchen, we were cooking on it. And I ended up throwing away a few of those. I just didn't get it done right. Watched some YouTubes, and it is a challenge. Now, stainless steel the advantages, durability, and again, this lack of transferring of flavor is really a strength. And also the ability to really evenly spread out the heat and create a good cooking surface. So hybrid cookware, which we didn't originate, but we have perfected, is really a combination of few different ideas. So in the Hell's Kitchen cookware, it starts off the following. We take two stainless steel discs and wedge between them, or we wedge between the two discs an aluminum disc, so that because the aluminum is highly conductive and that allows for the heat to spread out very quickly and evenly, but it's trapped between the two stainless steel surfaces. Then we laser etch a pattern on the stainless steel. And when you laser etch, you're removing materials. So you end up with these peaks and these valleys. And the peak is stainless steel. And in the valley, we apply our nonstick coating. And in our case, we're applying our own formula of a ceramic nonstick coating. Now, when I say our own formula, we're making some improvements to extend the life. We add diamond dust to it. We add.
Oh, you sold me. You sold me on diamond dust.
Right.
We also add some silver ions that allows it to have some antibacterial properties. So if you do have some oils or grease trapped in there, it won't breed bacteria. And then we also add some titanium, which again allows it to be a lot more durable. Now, when you talk about these peaks and valleys, so as you're cooking, the food is sitting on the stainless steel. So if you take a metal spatula and you scrape at your food to pick it up, your stainless steel is sitting and riding on the stainless steel surface. So it allows you to really go at it and be aggressive with your food and get in there and use a knife. You can slice open your steak. You don't have to worry about damaging the coating.
Really? It won't scratch?
It won't scratch.
Wow. Okay. Gosh, that's amazing.
And so then in these valleys where you've got this nonstick coating, this PFAS-free nonstick coating, our ceramic special blend, that's where the food and the oils and everything resides. So when it's time to clean it, you just can take it off your stovetop, take it over the sink, and you can usually wipe it down with just a sponge and everything will return back to new. Like in my house, we've been using the same set now for about 8 months. It looks as good as brand new, shiny.
Really? Oh, wow.
And the nonstick properties are still just as good as when they was new.
Nice. That's really...
Jeff, I think you're telling me I should be cleaning the dishes now and the cookware, and Lisa should be cooking now that it's so easy to do.
You don't want me to cook. Ron's the better cook for sure. So that's really cool. Now, the stainless steel, does it have to be a certain grade, like 18/8? Or what's the magic number with stainless steel?
I didn't know there was going to be math, so I got to go back and check my
not
notes.
my
But
strong suit either.
There are different codes. There's 401s, 402s, 411s, and all these things. I'll say to your viewers, we did buy the best. We have two different stainless steels. There's the cooking surface stainless steel, and then there's the heater element stainless steel. On the heater element side, we use a stainless steel that's better to be exposed to the flames and those sort of things. And we do have that laser pattern on the bottom as well. But there we put a ceramic coating.
Right.
There we put a heat resistant coating to really, that's really to keep it looking beautiful and to really protect the surface. But on the cooking side, it's that top grade. I believe it's 411.
Okay. No, I was just curious because that's a whole like little science in and of itself. Because you wonder, like when you shop for cookware, why is this stainless steel set so inexpensive? And why is this one over here like 10 times the price, right? So the stainless steel quality does matter. So that's really interesting. And can you put these in the dishwasher or do you just advise not doing that?
Yeah, no, they're absolutely dishwasher safe. Now, dishwashers do use very harsh chemicals and high temperatures and those sort of things. And so it's perfectly fine to use it. It's often some of these chemicals and these cleaners can be a little bit aggressive. So it's not really necessary. In fact, like a cast iron pan, we do recommend seasoning our pans. The more to use it, the better it'll perform. And so throwing into the dishwasher probably isn't necessary. What I do in my house, after we're done, I'll take it over the sink with a light sponge and a little bit of soap. I'll just rinse it off and then hang it to dry. But if you do want to put it into the dishwasher, it's absolutely approved and safe for dishwashers.
Oh.
So Jeff, question on this. Does your wife help you clean the pan or is this
Jeff's got it all. He's a one-man show, it sounds like. We're coming for dinner, Jeff. We're coming over.
Right, for sure.
No, that's great. And like cast iron is obviously a wonderful material too, but it is very, very heavy. And then you have to season it. And to be honest, I've never even owned a cast iron pan. I'm always like, what is that? I don't even know. You sprinkle seasoning on it and then I don't get it. Okay.
Well, going back to why hybrid's so great, hybrid, the word means it sits between or combines a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
So Cast iron is one of the things that, one of the benefits of cast iron is it's got this thick steel. So it gets really hot and it stays hot and it's evenly heat. So when we go back to our construction, this tri-clad or 3-layer construction, we get the benefits of cast iron as well as it heats up really quickly and it retains the heat well, and it's a very even heat. So when you're using our cookware, if people are used to using their cheap little aluminum frying pan, they may be finding that they're almost always cooking at medium high to high heats. When you use cookware, you're really going to want to use a much lower heat because it heats so fast and evenly. That speaking, you'll want to be about a medium to a low medium, and you'll get the same ability. And what's really nice, especially when you start moving to stainless steel, is whether you're frying an egg or you want to sear a steak. You wouldn't really want to sear a steak on a typical frying pan, but it'd be okay to sear one on our cookware because it's really designed for searing. That stainless steel really works great. And then you can get in there, like I said, and you can slice it up right in the pan. It's just incredibly versatile.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay. So tell our listeners some myths about cookware. I would say there's a lot of greenwashing going on when it comes to cookware. Tell us some things that we can look out for when we're shopping for a new cookware and avoid.
Okay. Yeah. We've all seen Star Wars where things are floating around and, like these things floating as if there's magic involved. And a lot of these frying pans show things as if it's going to be like the future is here where food barely even sits on the pan, right?
Right.
The reality is that there's no magic pan out there that's just going to be where food just sits on it and the perfect result. So really, you got to work at it. You got to choose your pan. Finding a pan that's versatile means the jack of all trades can do lots of things. And so that's where I think hybrid really shines. And so the main myth would be, if you're going to buy a cheap pan, expect that you're going to have to buy another cheap pan every 3 to 6 months. Our pans have a lifetime warranty. So
they do? Lifetime warranty. Wow. Okay.
So while it's a little bit more expensive than a typical pan and it's not going to break the bank, it is going to be a pan that you can use for years and years and years. The other thing you'll want to have is, the right tool for the right job. It's just like whether you're the mechanic or you're in a workshop, in the kitchen as well. We've got lots of different shapes and sizes, and having different pans for different results or different recipes is probably going to be a good strategy to have. And so we offer ours in everything from saute pans to different size fried pans to, we use our stock pot all the time. It's great for chilies and stews because, again, nothing sticks to the bottom and it's so easy to clean and it really heats up really nicely.
So when you say you recommend seasoning it, you're saying you're about to cook, you should be throwing seasoning on first?
So a seasoning isn't spices, a seasoning is oil. So what you'll want to do with cast iron pan or with our pans,
I never knew that.
Seasoning is optional with our pans because they do work so well. But if you really want to have a real slippery experience, what the season will do is it'll put a very thin layer of oil before you start cooking. So with our pans and most seasoning processes, what you'll do is you'll heat up the pan when it's dry and clean. In our case, we suggest a medium to medium low heat for about a minute or two. Then you apply a thin layer of oil to it and you let it heat up a little bit. You'll want to use an oil that is, kind of as a high smoke point oil.
Right.
That way you're not really setting off the house alarms or you're also reducing the oil to kind of a gunky kind of goo. So if you use a good high smoke oil, and so once you've done that, now the pan is really going to perform. The stainless steel surface and the nonstick surface will both provide that not slippery surface. So if you're going to fry those pancakes or eggs or whatever you're going to work on next, you're just going to have the best experience.
Okay.
What things should we avoid when cooking? Is there anything we should just avoid? I know we talked about myths.
Well,
Teflon.
High of a temperature is, a lot of people are in a rush. They just want to crank it to high and go. Slow and easy, or the right temperature is often they can get the best out of food. It's also you can get best out of your pans. So I usually recommend, again, a medium to medium low, where most people would have been a medium high.
That's good advice.
Yeah. Use your oven. When our pans can go straight from the cooktop right into the oven. And so sometimes, especially if you're cooking a steak or something that's thick, you'll want to sear it on the outside and then chop in those flavors. And then you can either put the cover on and kind of lower the temperature and cook it through, or you can drop it into your oven. And that's a great, really chop in those flavors and still get a nice, juicy or a well-cooked food, whatever it is that you're making. And so I think experimenting with different temperatures, experimenting with your oven and your cooktop, it really changes. It's a game changer. It makes cooking fun because
Yeah.
the tastes as good as it looks, and the experience and the process feels like you're just on the TV show because it's such a more versatile tool.
Yeah. And I love, so you could put it in the oven to broil if you just cook. Okay. That's amazing. You don't have to transfer it to a different baking sheet or what have you.
Yeah, because you lose some of the spices when you transfer, all that goodness
Yeah.
that you've enriched the meal with, whatever you're
Right.
cooking. You lose it in that transfer. Now you don't. I love that too. So
Yeah, I'm sure we've all seen that video of the chef making a steak and then putting the frying pan at an angle, adding some butter and kind of scooping the butter and kind of doing that step and watching that butter sizzle. That's a really good feeling. And it really it transforms the taste. And I did it for the first time with our cookware. Normally if I'm going to make a steak, I'll throw it on the barbecue. But now that I've got this cookware, again, this hybrid cookware where I can cook on stainless steel on a hybrid pan, you can really go at it and scoop at it and slice it open right there in the steak and reveal the beautiful finish.
Nice. What's the highest temperature it can withstand?
So we don't recommend it you put it into an oven at a temperature any higher than 500 degrees.
Okay.
okay,
Does anyone cook above that? I mean, that's pretty hot.
that is hot.
That's it as high as you probably
That's pretty
need. I think that's pretty safe.
Okay.
And also have an oven mitt when you take out the pan, right?
Yes. We've all made that mistake.
I've kind of made that mistake before.
Yeah.
So
I'm
everyone's
like, I'll just use this thin towel. Then you do that once and you.
right, that too.
This thin towel will work.
The thin towel, or I can't find the oven mitts. I just want to use these 2 towels and I'll pick it
Right.
up this way. And then your hand's still touching the bag. I know. That's beautiful though. I do love the
On
convenience.
the cooktop surface, you're fine. Or we have a stay cool handle, which is really nice.
Okay.
Definitely when you drop it into the oven,
Right.
the whole
You
thing
got to
gets
be careful. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I'm wearing green. If you're listening on the podcast, you can't see. And so my green question is going back to the greenwashing. So when consumers first started becoming aware of the issues with PFAS, it was actually called something else. I can't remember. They used to have a different name for it, for the category of chemicals. And
I think you're thinking of
what's that?
Teflon.
Yeah, Teflon's the brand name, but they changed the name and I forget what it used to be called before it was PFAS. But PFAS is a class of chemicals, which includes like PFOA and PTFE and all of these different chemicals. So companies will use different chemicals. So I see a lot, and I'm sure you do too, is companies that will say PTFE free or PFOA free, but they don't tell you the rest of the story, right? Like, are they not using that one, but they're using the other one? Or are they using, as they call in science, a regrettable substitute, right? A new chemical that hasn't been tested for its toxicity yet, or has been tested and they're just not telling you and you haven't heard about it yet. So that happens a lot. And I see a lot of that. What would you say to consumers how to avoid getting greenwashed like that?
Yeah, that's a really good one. That's a really scary trap because PFOAs are one subgroup, as are PTFEs. And so you can see something that says, oh, it's PFOA free, I'm good to go.
Right.
But you have PTFEs or one of the other, I think there's 1,500 different fast chemicals. So PFAS is kind of at the top of the chain. So if you're PFAS free, that's a good one to look for. And so all the chemicals that are in ours are natural and the body accepts and pass through. Also because of the durability and the structure of design,
Yeah.
you worry about the same type of concerns. But yeah, that's a big one for sure. There's a lot of misleading advertising and things that say healthy aren't always healthy.
We had an air fryer and really didn't think about it. And we were using it. And all of a sudden I reached out to the company and said, hey, is there nonstick, and they said, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, they're not going to lie to you. They're going to tell you if you ask, but they're certainly not going to tell you unless you ask if they've got a toxic material. So I think that goes true with like, whether it's non-toxic cleaning products or skincare, they're going to tell you if it's healthy. And if they're really kind of quiet, they might have something to hide, right? So if they're not shouting from the rooftop on their packaging how great and healthy it is, then it's probably not because they'd want to tell you that, And I would say too to listeners, like avoid aluminum. I can't believe how much aluminum I still see out there. It is banned in some countries, actually in cookware, but it's still legal here. And it's like aluminum baking sheets I see all the time at high-end cooking stores. And it just kind of blows my mind because that's transferring into your food. You have to think about the concept of you're ingesting that, right? Whatever's been on that. So, wow. Anything else you'd like to leave listeners with? This has been so interesting.
I think you touched on it earlier, and I don't want to be a walking commercial, but it is what I do. It's how I take. But when we were designing our cookware, you don't often look at a frying pan and think, wow, that's beautiful.
Mm,
Stainless steel, we went with a polished stainless steel, which means it's nice and shiny. And it really looks like a piece of jewelry.
it does. I actually run and I can attest.
Right.
I thought the same thing the first time I saw it, Jeff. I was like, that is a gorgeous pan. And I like that deep one because you were just going to buy one in the collection. I feel like that one could work for so many different things. And it's like an investment, not only in your health, but in your products, like your kitchen products. Like you said, you're going to have that for life.
And a lot of people will leave it out all the time because it's so pretty. Guests come
Yeah,
over, part of it scales up your kitchen, and it's
it
really
does.
here.
Yeah. And it makes such a great holiday gift. It makes a great housewarming gift. How about a wedding gift? We can't stress enough, guys, the importance of investing in your health. And Ron did that quote at the top of the show. And it's like invest in your health now, or they say invest in the farmer now or pay the doctor later. It's the same concept. Like when you invest in these good products, be it an organic mattress, an air purifier, or actual healthy cookware, you are preventing not only potential illnesses, you'll end up spending more money in the long run. Like Jeff said, you're going to be replacing these pots and pans. Same with your cheapy mattress. You're going to end up having back problems because your mattress, have good materials and support. So I really can't stress that enough. And speaking of, guys, head right now to hellskitchenstore.com where you can learn more about Jeff and his PFAS-free, non-stick, hybrid, beautiful cookware. So thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much for being with us.
Sure. Hey, there's one more thing you asked about, and I'll take it one step further, is the utensils. There's a lot of movement as well. People will stop at the frying pan. When you start thinking about the utensils, there's a lot of plastics in there as well. The two materials that I would recommend that are the safest to use would be a stainless steel set of utensils. If you want to have something that is a little bit less abrasive, so with our stainless steel is perfectly fine. But if not, silicone-based are PFAS-free as well. And again, not to plug ourselves, but we do have 2 lines of utensils coming out in 2025. One would be a stainless steel line, and the other one will be a silicone line.
Oh, very good. We get asked that a lot. I know silicone is made from sand, correct?
Silicone is made from sand. Yeah.
And yeah.
You're right. There's 2 different silicones. The silicone that's in the spatulas and all that, that is a kind of a rubber, but it doesn't have PFAS. It's a different type of material. And to my knowledge, and again, that is considered to be a safer alternative.
Yeah. Okay.
It has a much higher melting point, and it does give it smoke off. A lot of people will put their spatula in the pan and it'll melt. That's all PFAS, especially now there's a lot of news about specifically black plastic.
Yes, black spatulas all over the news. Exactly. And BPA and those types of chemicals in those plastics, any hard plastic. So BPA is a chemical that hardens plastic, and phthalates is a chemical that softens plastic. So if you think about like a rubber ducky or kids' toys, you're looking at the phthalates. And if you're looking at hard plastics, you're looking at likely BPA if it's a number 7. And so all of it matters, and I love that you guys, so the stainless steel utensil line that you're coming out with, that won't scratch. You can go in there and scrape and do all that and it won't scratch the surface.
Absolutely, because it'll be riding on that stainless steel surface, those peaks of value that we talked about earlier.
That's such a brilliant concept.
It really is. Under the Hell's Kitchen cookware brand, those utensils?
It will be. It will be.
Okay.
Those will all be Hell's Kitchen brand. Okay. And the spatulas, are they going to come in multicolors or will you have one color?
So the stainless steel line we're working on, they'll both be in the Hell's Kitchen colors. Hell's Kitchen main colors, we have a red and a black. That's our primary colors for the brand. So these would be in those 2 colors first.
Okay, perfect. Black always looks good this is me, designer, and me talking.
Is this coming out like
black
in March?
always looks good in a modern kitchen.
It does. That's nice.
Yeah, there's a big houseware show in Chicago called the Inspired Show. It takes place every early March, and we'll be showcasing a lot of new products. We've got about over 20 new products coming out in 2025. And those products should start showing up. The most exciting one that I'm excited about is really enjoyed learning about the process of knives. If you've never owned a really good set of knives, you are missing out. Once you start having a super sharp, high quality knife, it makes dicing and chopping not become a chore, but really enjoyable. And so we got some really, really cool stuff coming out. And I'm really excited. We'll be having some loyalty programs on our site. So once you're in and you sign up for our newsletters, you'll get a lot of coupons and a lot of ability to save. As the more you buy, the more you save type stuff.
That's great.
I tell Ron that. I tell Ron all the time. I can't save if I don't buy more.
He's a saver, that's for sure. He's a big saver.
I'm a saver.
Are your utensils rolling out is probably like March of next year then, if you're going to be ready for the show?
Yeah, I think we'll have them available by March for sure.
Okay, excellent.
Ooh, okay. Mother's Day, Father's Day knives. I know you're right about that. We had a really nice KitchenAid knife, and it's like the effort and the layered steel and the Japanese wooden handle, and like the amount of beauty and artistry that goes into a good knife, is pretty incredible. I really didn't know that until that knife, and we learned about it.
A samurai folding in the metal, right? Shogun, right?
Exactly what's going to be on it. Yeah, the more you fold in, then you see these fold lines in the metal.
Yes.
Wow.
It's again, when you can combine beauty with performance, that's, I think, a magical combination. And that's what we're going for with all of our products.
Yeah. And less is more. You don't need 20,000 different spatulas if you've got a couple good ones. Now, what about wood? Can you use a wooden spoon or?
Absolutely.
Okay, wood's fine.
Of course, you don't want to put that into the dishwasher. I think they can crack, especially from the heating process. But yeah, a wood, you go down the rabbit hole, there's so many different types of woods, but most wood utensils are great to use.
And high temperatures. Okay, wooden. So we want wooden, we want silicone, and we want stainless steel and the hybrid cookware. And I hope you guys come out with a baking sheet. I don't know if it needs to be hybrid, but.
We do have some baking sheets coming out later in the year. We're also
you do?
Yeah, a bunch of other kitchen stuff, including crock pots and those type of.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, because our baking sheets, they're stainless steel. That's all we use. And they're so pretty when you first get them. They're just beautiful. And now they look like a black explosion. It's like from the oil. And we use parchment paper, but still the oil seeps through and they're hard to clean. And it's kind of like you said, I mean, they work fine, but I get like, oh, I wish they looked like they did when we first got them. But your cookware does. It maintains that look, which is so cool. I really love it. Well, friends, we'll put a link in the show notes so you can search by your zip code. Okay, this is to check your tap water. Just going back to PFAS, the topic of today's show is we'll put a link and you can actually go in there, put in your zip code, and it'll take you to the EWG tap water database to see if your local utility has detected PFAS contamination in your water. Not all water filters remove PFAS. In fact, most of them don't. You have to actually ask and see if they do, because that's one of the biggest ways that we also get ingestion beyond cookware and all the other things we mentioned at the top of the show.
Absolutely. And guys, please be sure to review our show. 5 stars are always appreciated so we can continue to bring you excellent guests like Jeff. Yes. And Hell's Kitchen Cookware. Head over to healthyhomehacks.com for all the links, all the show notes that we discussed, and we will see you at the next episode. Bye, everyone, and thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
This episode of the Healthy Home Hacks podcast has ended, but be sure to subscribe for more healthy living strategies and tactics to help you create the healthy home you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best content. See you on the next episode.